So Paige Bueckers is she's going to be the number 1 overall pick next year. She is one of the best guards we have ever seen in college. And look, Paige Bueckers was the best player in that recruiting class for a while. A recruiting class with Caitlin Clark, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, Cameron Brink. She was the best. She was the best in high school. She was the best her freshman year. Heck, she won National Player of the Year as a freshman. And you can look at stats and say it should have been Caitlin Clark, but look, Paige Bueckers as a freshman was so good. People were saying she should have been allowed to go to WNBA after her first year. People were saying that there's no need for her to stay 3 more years in college. She was the catalyst for them wanting to change the eligibility criteria. She's being set up to fail. Paige Bueckers is being set up to fail. And if you guys agree, subscribe. We are trying to hit 34.2k by the end of the day, and right now we are 23 off. But Paige Bueckers is being set up to fail badly. And I mean that. She is being set up to fail. Like, you're seeing her everywhere. The WNBA is sharing Paige Bueckers stuff everywhere. She is being... You can see there, Paige had one of those summers to write movies about. All she did during the summer, by the way, was be everywhere. You cannot do what she did and be still working on your game. I'm sorry. She's in every country in the world, every city. She's going from city to city every single day. And I get it. Do you? But the way Paige Bueckers is being treated, you know the way that people were saying Caitlin Clark was being treated, that she was being handed stuff before ever playing, and she's being treated like she's this unbelievable player despite never having done anything. Everything that the people that hated Caitlin Clark accused Caitlin Clark of getting is what's happening with Paige Bueckers. But it's okay because Paige Bueckers went to UConn. I think that's the only difference, because they both all of the factors that people accuse Caitlin Clark of being pushed for, and people dislike Caitlin Clark because of it, that are non-basketball related, also apply to Paige Bueckers. The difference is she goes to UConn. She went to UConn. And I don't know, maybe, like, certain people just tend to like her more. And look, I don't think there's any reason to not like Paige Bueckers. Like, Paige Bueckers is an exceptional player. And if you look at what Paige Bueckers did in high school, like, Paige Bueckers was, I don't care what anyone says, she was better than Caitlin Clark up to a point. But what Paige Bueckers was able to do in high school was berserk. Like, she was the number 1 ranked player for a reason. If you were to look at some of the stuff that Paige Bueckers was doing back then, like, she was on another level. Like, she can go left, she can go right, she can pull up from mid, she can shoot the 3 ball, she scores efficiently, she's got flair, she plays defense. She has no real weaknesses in her game, but she's not as good as Caitlin Clark. And if she is being set up into a position that the Caitlin Clark haters have now a lot of them have realized that Angel Reese is not going to be as good as Caitlin Clark, which she's going to be great. She's not going to be as good as Caitlin Clark. Now everything's Paige being like, oh. And then eventually it's going to be Juju when they realize Paige is not Caitlin Clark. Paige is going to be a really good WNBA player. She's going to be really good. She's not going to be Caitlin Clark. Like, Caitlin Clark is prime for prime in the conversation for best point guard of all time. Like, obviously, not over the totality of her career. Sue Bird played 20 years. But prime, peak for peak. She is in the conversation. Caitlin Clark is already in the conversation for best of all time. Paige Bueckers is not going to be that good. And the way Paige Bueckers is being treated by the WNBA, by the media, she is being treated like, as much as Caitlin Clark, people were saying she was being treated as a celebrity, and Caitlin Clark was on a lot of these shows. That was in the 3 weeks, her being on a lot of these shows, like, I don't know, whichever of the Jimmys, I don't know, Fallon, Kimmel, she was on one of their shows, and people were like, oh, she's being, like, anointed before playing. But yeah, like, we're seeing Paige Bueckers everywhere, at every single game. Heck, AZ Fudd is now just tagging along, and it's like, everything we're seeing with Paige Bueckers is not basketball related. I know she hasn't played in a while, but, like, a lot of the reason why people think Paige Bueckers are putting Paige Bueckers over Caitlin Clark is, I don't know, she's got more aura. She's got more, quote unquote, aura. She does more stuff outside of basketball than Caitlin Clark. that Caitlin Clark, and that's the difference between these two. Caitlin Clark is a psycho. She is an absolute psycho. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, she is wired like Kobe Bryant. Paige Bueckers is a super talented player. She's not Caitlin Clark. And I'm scared about what's going to happen to Paige Bueckers when she gets into the W and is not as good as Caitlin Clark. Everybody thought Caitlin Clark was being set up to fail. No, Caitlin Clark was just... Like, Caitlin Clark people cannot comprehend this. She went to back-to-back finals with Iowa. She beat the almost 3-year in a row undefeated South Carolina with Aaliyah Boston, Camila Cardoso, Tahina Pau. Like, all of these players. She beat them with Iowa. She then went the next year and faced an LSU team who won the championship the year before, who added Hailey Van Lith and Anissa Morrow to their team and beat them. I repeat, with Iowa. No transfers. They got no transfers in. LSU got transfers in. They won with Iowa. She then faced UConn. Paige Bueckers, like AZ Foot, was injured. Aaliyah Edwards. All 5-star recruits on that team. She won with Iowa. Like, people don't understand that. Like, Paige Bueckers can win a championship this year. And it's not going to change my opinion. She plays for UConn. It is not Iowa. Like, it would have been like had Elena Deladon won in college. Imagine if Elena Deladon had beaten those, like, elite UConn teams, had beaten, like, the elite UConn teams through her college career when there was, like, and then the Baylor teams with Brittany Griner. Like, there were all these really, really good teams. And obviously, Elena Deladon in college went to Delaware. She went to Delaware. It would be like had she went and won in college. But, like, that's the last thing I can remember. But, like, the best they did was getting to what? The Sweet 16? With Deladon? Not back-to-back finals. But Paige Bueckers is exceptional. She's not Caitlin Clark. She's not as good as Caitlin Clark. She was at one time, but that was years ago. Players improve at different rates. Let's not forget, like, how many of the top... Steph Curry was a 3-star recruit. Players improve at different rates in basketball. She was the best. And she's going to be a damn good player. She may be an all-star next year. But I'm scared that Paige Bueckers is going to come in and average 14 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, a half a block a game. And everyone's going to cry bust. When in reality, she'll be one of the top... probably one of the top 15 rookie guards ever. She's just not Caitlin Clark. And for that reason, she's been set up to fail, because the Caitlin Clark haters are now waiting for her to come into the league. They're like, well, look, they're saying it's like, they're Magic and Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are Magic and Bird. It's like, no, wait for Jordan. Wait for Jordan with her. And it's going to be the exact same with, by the way, with Juju Watkins. As much as I like Juju Watkins, I think she's a better scorer than both of these players. I think she's the best scorer of them all. Juju Watkins' all-around game isn't even close to that of a Caitlin Clark. She'll be a damn good player. She won't be Caitlin Clark. Paige Bueckers going to be a damn good player. She's not going to be Caitlin Clark. And these players, honestly, are just being set up to fail.